Hey everyone, hope you can hear me and see me. Welcome back to Jams and Drams, although there's no drams in this one. As you might recognise, this is earlier than my usual live streaming time of 7:30 on Sunday, so I'm just on the coffee. I've got to go out shortly and we'll be out later, busy later. Same for next week as well, so I may have to do next week's stream on a Saturday. I've got a gig next Sunday, but I'm going to sort of make a bit more I'll just sort of talk about that a little bit more on my whatever platforms through the week to remind you. So if you're new, Jams and Drams is my weekly end of week treat where I hang out with my guitar, I have a drink, usually it's a whiskey, it's coffee today, and just chat guitar, play some guitar, teach guitar, just whatever, answer questions. Today, I've been away for a few days on a secret project, app-related research trip with Tom Quell, so we've been doing some work on that for 3 or 4 days now, so I've not had a chance to plan a stream. Just got back this afternoon and thought I'd had the crazy idea to update my FM3 to the Firmware 10 beta. Now I was going to do a video on this and actually do an in-depth usual kind of review or whatever, or explore with a normal video. Kind of jam-packed with stuff to do at the moment, so I figured I'm not going to have time, and rather than let that just slip by, I thought I'd do a live stream with it and roll the dice and see if I can do it live on air, the update, and then test it out. Really important thing with the update process with Fractal. I mean, first of all, nobody updates firmware like Fractal, and that's a good and a bad thing because you can massively have things change that you depend on. So when I went from firmware 7 to firmware 8, my main Dumble-like sound changed a bit, and I know with this update to firmware 10 there's a whole ton of exciting new things coming in firmware 10 I'm really looking forward to and have been for a long time. Pitch reverbs, compressor alignment with the XFX3, but it's going to change a lot because the other amp that I rely on a lot, the Friedman Brown Eye stuff, that's all been sort of tweaked as well. So I'm going to try and do a little test beforehand. I'm going to try and record in Logic some tests with the backing track I've used before with some of these sounds and presets, and then try and record before and after the update and then see how it goes and if anything's crazy different. Should be able to control, you should be able to see me, main wide shot, the me with Logic and me with the FM3 shot. So we'll see how this goes, and this is just for me because to try and keep my routine, not miss any streams and not miss a week. So I might not be looking at the camera, I might not be talking very much, but if you want to ask any questions, I'll try to keep an eye on the comments. Hope everyone's doing well, by the way. Where's everyone watching from, and how's your weekend going? Yeah, be curious to know if any of you watching have actually got an FM3 or in the Fractal world. Yeah, so basically I've created a couple of presets or variations on my main presets of Stinky Opticians, which you can check out on the channel somewhere. I've done this before and it's on my Patreon if you want to grab the preset. So a variation on that one, there's a test to go, as you can see, from firmware 9 to 10, and then also a version of my Bumble Fumble preset, which is my main Dumble sort of ODS kind of preset, variation on that. And basically I'm just going to, like I say, record some lead sound, try and play the same solo kind of lead lines and record them both before and after the update. We've got Vi Sachatrucci from Nashville. Fantastic. Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining the stream. Hope you are well and having a good weekend. We've got Basil in the chat again. Oh, amazing. From Lebanon. Fantastic. أتكلم عربية قليلا. تتكلم عربية باسل? Apologies if that's awful, my Arabic's very rusty. Yeah, cool. No, well, thanks for watching, everybody. Great to have you here. Let's get started. Hopefully you can hear. Shukran. Basil. I wasn't expecting to be speaking Arabic on the stream today. كيف حالك؟ كيف حالك؟ Okay, so this is my fumble preset. I'm gonna thanks for that. That's good. So you can see and hear, is everything well balanced? Because this convoluted stream setup to get this to work, but I wanted to try and show everything as I could, as live as possible. So I'm going to record lead 9, firmware 9.02. I'm going to do this. Let's start with, this is Stinky Opticians. Okay. That's not recorded. Why is that not recorded? Let's see. It's going into studio. It should be. Channels, that's why, because I'm going, okay, here's the routing. I'm going into my FM3. So I'm going into the FM3, then out of that secondary outputs into the quad cortex secondary inputs, out of the quad cortex into my PreSonus, and the channels on the PreSonus are wrong, in Logic. So that should be on 5 and 6, I think, and then turn record on. Yeah, I've got about an hour to do all this as well, so I'm kind of stressing on the time. Fantastic, thanks for letting me know. And like I said in the title of the video, this may go very badly wrong. Let's try and have another go. I'm trying to play roughly the same 8-bar lines, so it's hard to do things exactly the same every time. I've tried to come up with, transcribe a little bit from an older solo and then just do some lines that are familiar muscle memory. It's just so I've got something that's repeatable-ish for comparing things. So we'll see how it goes anyway. Right, that should be recording now. So that's lead 902, Stinky Opticians. Let's now do, I didn't put any tracks down for Bumble Fumble. Let's do that. If there's anyone got any questions that are not FM3 related, feel free to answer. I'll try and multitask if you want me to. But I'm probably not going to be able to do much more than answer questions whilst I'm doing this. Okay, let's see if that's Hey William, thanks man, appreciate that. Nice to do it as well. Okay, let's try and do that again on Bumble Fumble. So this is my main, so the Stinky Opticians is my main Brown Eye 50 preset that, you know, trying to replicate my B50. Once again, if you want to get that preset, it's over on my, there's a video specifically on that on my channel, and then you can grab the preset on Patreon, I think, for this one as well. Maybe Bumble Fumble isn't uploaded, or it might be under a different name, but I can upload that onto that to it this week, later today rather. Right, let's just practice the tone level with Bumble Fumble. That's got that more of the mid-range push. And these are some of my favourite sounds to play. William asking, do you have any IR cab that you constantly use? I did. I used to use the Owen Hammer G&R basket weave 4x12 Marshalls, beautiful IRs. I think if I was still using IRs, that's the one I'd be using for my main kind of, you know, this kind of a tone really. I really recommend them if you like IRs. I prefer, to be honest, these days, just using the Dynacabs. The Dynacabs are so good, I think, in the Fractal, that I've got my block library, which maybe I should upload my blocks to Patreon as well if you want to grab those. But this is, oh, hang on a second, this is, sorry, Bumble Fumble is on Legacy, it's not Dynacabs. So they're not third-party IRs, they're the included ones. Hopefully you can see that on screen there, which is, and those are the settings. But yeah, I can upload, they're in the presets what I'm using. But like I say, the ones that my favorite IRs that I've used over and over again is the Owen Hammer Guns N' Roses cab basket weave 4x12 Marshall thing. Okay, let's try and crack on. Time, I think. Ah, that's not going to work if I change that one. Come on, Beebs. That will probably do for those. I'll get it close enough with the recordings after the update. Should do. So that was Bumble Fumble and Stinky Opticians. funny, isn't it? Like the kind of sounds that you kind of just go for. Yeah, but there's definitely that more of a mid focus on the Bumble Fumble one. Okay, right then. So save that. Right, I think I'm gonna need Fractal Bot update. I don't think I have it on this Mac Studio since I've updated to the new computer. Fractal Bot, OS X. So the really exciting thing about the FM3 Firmware 10 is that it finally brings, or tries to bring, the reverb block into alignment with the AXFX3. So for the longest time now, the AXFX3 and the FM9 have had like the shimmery pitched verbs, and the FM3 has been kind of left out on that. Also the compressor overhaul as well. There's so many things that have been overhauled that it's one of the reasons I wanted to record some tests beforehand, because really things could change quite drastically here. And I just want to make sure it's not my brain playing tricks on me. So yeah, that's the main reason for doing this. And then I can roll, obviously with Fractal you can always roll back, you know, it's pretty reliable as long as you're updating. That's why we're doing Fractal Bot right now. Receive mode, select your device, FM3. Where to stick the files? I can't remember where I put these before. Again, since I've changed the computer, things are not automatically in the right place at the moment, I don't think. Fractal. Is that going to be? I think that's right. I might just make a new folder on locally, because I think that's going to. Yeah, let's do this just to be sure. FM3 backup, 18th of the 5th. Right, backup everything. Yep, backup everything, go. Cool, yeah, so I'm really excited about the pitch reverbs, the gold plate reverb, I think. There's a really good plate preset spin in the AXFX3 that I've been really coveting since that came out, the gold plate one. What else is there that's been exciting? Oh, if we go to the forum and actually take a look at what it says whilst that's backing up. So Fractal Forum's the place to get all this stuff while it's not main release. And then here we've got an absolute avalanche of updates. So new amps, block updates. This is the thing that's really worrying me here. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I need to zoom in. But all of this stuff here is going to massively, well, it's potentially going to change my main brown eye Stinky Opticians preset. It's cool, the changes, but you know, it's also a little scary. Like I say, nobody updates like Fractal, and that's a good thing and potentially a bad thing as well. Then you've got all the drive block updates. Now these drives don't really interest me all that much, although at some point I will play with them, but I know I'm not a fuzz man, don't dig fuzzies, and I don't really know the color tone stuff. Updates to the DS1, new tube drive 5 Nobble. It's not a Nobles or a Nobble, it's a model. So reverb block updates. This is massive change. So there's massive changes to the reverb block. There's massive changes to the compressor block. The front and back end of my signal are changing quite enormously, and then changes to the Friedman stuff, which is one of my main sounds. So that's why I'm sort of really on the fence about doing this, really, and wanting to have the ability to roll back. I've definitely been thinking about the need or necessity for, like, as bougie as it is, having 2 units. Like one that is just always living on the update and one that's just the backup goal, reserve unit. That's completely sounds outlandish, but the kind of thing that's got me thinking about this is, if you imagine like this life of constantly living on the edge of your tone changing, if you find a tone, digital or that you really, really love, to me it just seems like you're forever going to be at the mercy of them changing things. And if you want to stay up to date for other reasons, your core tone might change. And it would be a little bit like, what never happened was Leo and Jim didn't come around your house every 6 months and fiddle with your wiring or your tubes or your whatever and mod your amp. You bought an amp, you buy a real amp, and it's fixed, isn't it? Okay, that looks like it's backed up. So my thinking behind getting on another unit at some point, is to potentially just have one that's like living on the edge of the updates and one that is just, you're just happy with for safe and secure for gigs. Anyway, that's probably not going to happen. Can't afford that. So all backed up. So I also don't have the presets, factory presets in at the moment. For a little while I wiped everything out. So all of these are empty, and there's been new updated factory presets to take advantage of and into account all of these changes. So I'm quite looking forward to putting those on and testing those out. Also, nobody does factory presets like Fractal. I think that's kind of an absolute industry standard in terms of what Fractal are able to do in demonstrating and showcasing the strength of their core features, like the core amp modeling and the brilliant variety and depth and quality of the tones, is having such a fantastically sets of created factory presets. It's complete opposite to most units, where most units factory presets are kind of like dog shite, and then you've got to really work, to dial them in. Fractal is, amazing for that, having the factory presets great out of the box. Anyone else using Fractal in the chat or watching? Why can't I get on here? So send mode, FM3. So I think everything is right now. I think I'm going to be all right. It should carry over the main settings, I think. So browse, downloads, FM3 beta 10. Let me just take another quick little read through this in case there's anything I'm going to regret. So the download code update if required, if you're updating from FM3 firmware prior to 9, which doesn't apply to me, I was already on 902. Beta of FM3 edit is ready to go. Download preset to CPU and factory presets. This firmware includes major improvements to sound quality and performance. As a result, some presets now require more CPU. Yeah, I'm probably going to struggle here potentially, because I've got an old version 1 non-turbo Hyper Fighter Ultimate Championship edition of the FM3. So yeah, but I'm aware of that. I might struggle with CPU. But the new factory presets address that apparently. So that's what I mean, taking advantage of and accounting for the changes in CPU. So I've downloaded those separately. Okay, so there's no other warnings there, so I reckon I'm just going to roll the dice and do it. Stacey, you updated your Axe 2 last week. Oh wow, that's old school. So Axe 2 to what version? What software? Is that the last one that they did? Axe 2 is still such a great unit. I've got Tom's old one in the store at the moment. I was using that for some time before I got the FM3. And that's what Axe 2 was, the thing that turned me on to Fractal in the first place. And yeah, still a great unit. Lost my cursor. Well, I'm using the FN9 Mark II with a Fender FR12, mainly with Dynacabs, really digging this combo live use. Oh, nice, very nice. Stacy, I'm about to sell it, but now it seems to sound better and I'm torn. Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Like, that's the sort of thing I was talking about with the units. Like, if you've got a sound and you're happy with it and you don't have to sell it to fund the next thing, or, you know, if you're not getting the next thing, then I guess it's one of those things about learning to be living, you know, live happy with your gear choices and not be always on the, you know, it's a little hard to do this, isn't it, when you're constantly surrounded and bombarded by the newest gear releases, and especially if you're on YouTube and everything, and you see that and you're part of that world, making stuff or whatever. It's just one of them things where it's hard to resist those material desires. But, you know, sometimes I guess I'm I'm falling prey to that curiosity now of, like, I want the latest update, so I'm going to roll the dice and do this stupid live stream update. Yeah, it's just one of them things. Also, FM3 at the time, I kept running into resource issues with the presets I was wanting to set up. Fractal is incredible. Yeah, so do you mean like CPU limitations with the FM3? I don't run massive crazy presets. I'm a pretty meat and potatoes guy, like, you know, compressor, drive, amp, cab, delay, reverb, maybe some pitch or modulation or special effects source here and there. I don't do anything like too insane, so I sort of, for the most part, have been able to get away with the FM3. My biggest sort of frustrations has been, as the FM3's aged and gone, as the FM3 has become like slightly older, and Fractal, to the credit, have kept on updating it super well, but it's just taking longer to get some of the really exciting stuff brought over. So I think it was a few years ago when the pitch verbs came out for the XFX3 and then the FM9, and it's taken quite a while to get things like that onto the FM3. And it does kind of sound like, I know in the forums people are talking about, you know, the FM3 is still supported, it's still got life in it, but it does feel a bit to me, especially with some of these acknowledgements about, like, you know, needing new factory presets, it requires more CPU, especially on the non-turbo Hyper Championship Street Fighter World Edition. Like, that to me is like a sign that it might be like coming towards the end. I don't know. Anyway. But I also didn't know about channels and all the things you can do to optimize presets before the turbo version. Oh, yeah, well, that's another amazing thing about the Fractal verse, is you can, like, their channels aspect massively makes life simpler and more flexible and more powerful. There's loads you can do even just with, you know, the FM3 still, yeah. Okay, let's get this rolling, because I'm supposed to say I've got to go out about in about an hour, so where's my cursor gone? There. Take you back to my okay, so beta 10 loading in. It's on Stinky 403. Let's send the file. Yeah, so obviously before you do this, back up. I've backed up, but it's still never an absolute, you know, given that you're not going to run into craziness. Let's put that on so you can see the process. Yeah. Okay, this is the usual transfer complete. Where's my cursor keep disappearing? Right, and that, yeah. So yeah, any questions about anything at all while this is, well, I'm twiddling my thumbs here. Thoughts on the very good, there we go, coming straight away. So thoughts on the VP4. My thoughts on the VP4 can only be based upon videos and people, oh, it's done, people's other thoughts. I don't have any first-hand experience with the VP4. I don't think it's for me. I can see the attraction for certain players, but yeah, I don't think it's something for me. I could, although having said that, I was thinking of building a pedal board, a mini pedal board, just for the brown eye, just for the Friedman, because it'd be nice to just have something in front of that. Maybe it could do that. Maybe if I could do full cable method with that VP4, something in front of the brown eye, that would be handy. Yeah, it seems like it's, you know, great, but just I don't know about my use cases and whether I could justify that much money on it for effects. Yeah. Okay, so turn off, wait 5 seconds. Elephant 1, elephant 2, elephant 3, elephant 4, elephant 5, elephant, turn it back on. So let's see, these are, the presets aren't automatically installed. Okay, so it's saying 10 beta 1 there. Still got my preset. Okay, interesting. It's done. So this is why this is so useful to record before and afters, because that immediate, I don't know if this is, well, just placebo, but that immediately feels a bit better. Or at least if it's changed, it's not necessarily changed for the worse, which is always kind of the... This is on Stinky Opticians. So all the Friedman brown eye amps have been like remastered effectively with the changes that they've made. So that they're basically put onto the main page, negative feedback on the front, but that's respected my settings. It's respected my input trim as well, because to mimic the lower gain structures on the B50, I kind of bring the input trim down a bit. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well that's a good starting point in that it's not. I'm not like I'm not going, oh, that's awful. Ah, Will, that's a really great point. I'll come back to your question in a moment, but remember to do a refresh after firmware. Yeah, I'm never entirely confident about what that's doing exactly, but what I wanted to do was to try it before doing a refresh. Yeah, maybe you could actually help me there, Will. Maybe what do you mean by that exactly? Do you mean like reset the amp block and then dial in my settings again on it? So what I was gonna do was test it like before, like I did, during, like immediately after the update, and then yeah, with whatever it means to reset the amp block or make a new preset from that amp. Let's come back to your question though. How do you organize your main presets, clean, crunch, solo for live performance? I've got a video on that, sort of. Well, it's not my presets, but the way I use layouts of the FM3. For a little while, I've got an FC6 down there and I was gigging with the two of them, but being the FC6 is identically the same enclosure, it's like double the weight and double the size. So I've worked on my my main layout for the FM3. This is my own custom layout that I've designed and built that works for me in order to get the most out of the 3 switches and the way I do it. So I'll show you that very quickly if you're interested. Let me just take my big old face off that circle there. So like I said, there is a video, you can search on my channel about it, but I'll do it very, very quickly. So I live on this main home layout. This is my OM3 or BB home layout. I have access to my tap tempo, my tuner, and then the middle button takes me into scenes. Then I have my 3 main sounds exactly as you were just describing. So I have my cleanish, you can see like I'll have a rhythm or lead. And then from these 3 scenes, I can like page up to the next bunch of scenes, up to the next bunch of scenes. And then the last bunch of scenes, sorry, not scenes, views here, I'm paging through the views. I have like additional options. So let's say I'm on view 1 in this scene layout. I can page back from my clean rhythm and lead and get my boost, my clon, my compressor, get to those very, very quickly. Page back to view to my main scenes again. At any point, if I want to get back to home, hold the middle button and I've got my tap tempo tuner. If I wanted to, now I live on that one, basically live on a preset for my main gigs. So what I tend to do is, well, if I have to change preset, then I can hold down tap tempo and just get an incremental up and down to just quickly change the preset I need. Again, go immediately into the scene or press and hold again to get back to that main view. If I need to get into the effects, actual individual effects view, I can hold the tuner button, takes me into a tuner effects layout. Again, middle button always takes me home to the main layout. If I want to get into my looper, because I have some looping to do live in one of the band I work in, I press that and hold down the middle scene button and that takes me into looper mode. And then I can do the looping I need and get back out of it by going back into there. So that's how it's organized. I tend to have like within that main scene layout there, the cleanish tone, the slightly driven or rhythm tone, and then a lead tone. And then I have on the expression pedal, my delay mix, and then a wah on the other expression pedal. And that allows me to get away with just using just the FM3, those 3 switches and 2 expression pedals for my live gigs. So hopefully that makes sense. If you want a more detailed explanation, as I say, there is a video on my channel from, I don't know, probably about a year ago now. Okay, so back to the task at hand. So that's the Stinky Opticians. So I'm going to record without resetting it on here. Okay, cool. Let's see. Done it again. You could probably see that. I've copied it and not changed the friggin' channels for the PreSonus interface. So I recorded nothing. Idiot. Right, let's make sure that doesn't happen again. So this is no changes. So this is FM. This third one will be reset block. Right. Okay, it's coming through now. Let's take that off. I know you couldn't see it because I wasn't on Logic. I'll put it on Logic now so you can tell me if I'm doing something stupid and it's not recording. Let's see if I can do that again. Wasn't tight, but whatever. That should be fine. Okay. I'll inspect all this later on. I'm not going to have much time to do this as I wanted. I thought I'd be quicker than this. The main thing is it feels and sounds great like in person. I'm not having any horrific like, oh, that's totally. If anything, it feels a little bit bouncier. Fractal. And the thing about the brown eye as well is that you don't have to have it like with like uber raging gain. It sings so nicely with mid gain. Coronation Street theme tune for some reason. Few Brits. Okay, so that was Stinky Opticians, no amp reset. I'm not going to do that yet. Will maybe if you've got any more info on the amp block resetting thing. If you want to get really nerdy, you can do an EQ match on those two tracks and identify the differences. Interesting. Enter rabbit hole. Yeah. That's kind of like maybe a bad thing for me, via Setrucci. Like, probably don't need to get any more OCD about things. Yeah. Apologies about the noise. It's weekend and neighbours have got the grass cutting or the leaf hedge cutter out. Okay, so that was Stinky Optician. So like I say, if you follow my channel with my fractal journey, I've got two main kind of sounds I go for with my lead tones. I've got like the Friedman brown eye kind of sound for my brown eye amp, real amp. But then I've also got what I really love with like the Dumble sound or the D sound. Now, obviously I don't have a Dumble, never played or whatever, but I do like that kind of forward mids, throaty kind of lower mids, kind of warm round tone. Again, not loads of gain. I don't really do this whole Robin Ford like Uber sort of talk to your daughter drive levels. But I do really enjoy what my perceived idea of what a Dumble is. And I've always used and really enjoyed the Dumble models in the fractal stuff. Now, as I said before, when we went from firmware 7 to 8, things changed a little bit. I didn't mention this in the video, but you can definitely hear it when I do the comparisons, where it just changed quite a bit. Not like it was bad by any means, but I had to do some work and tweaking underneath for a week or so in order to kind of get it back to where I feel like it was with firmware 7. So this will be interesting if things have changed here. There's nothing called out in the release notes as to whether the Dumbles have been remastered or tweaked or anything like the Freemans have explicitly been. But yeah, let's hit enter and see what's going on with this. So this is my main Bumble Fumble preset. On the scene I like with cut drive, so this has got the bass cut on. And let's... It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think on the neck pickup with the single coil there, obviously there is a difference, but they're much closer to one another. Tonally what I'm going for when I'm dialing these in. The main difference, of course, is the mid-range character there. Which is clearly something that I like in my aesthetic and tastes about tone. But what's more noticeable is on the bridge pickup, the differences. So this is an HSS Firmware Roadmaster, FB2. And yeah, you can sort of hear that more. It's more pronounced there when the bridge pickup, the difference in it. Stinky Opticians, Brown Eye. The Bumble Fumble Dumble preset. And that's where you can really hear those kind of lower mids kind of coming forward in that preset. And then they're just the two characteristic tones that I like with my leads sounds. So let's do this one. Sorry, I keep forgetting to switch back the cameras that you should be looking at. So, Bumble Fumble Firmware 10. No changes. Oh, Will's replied there about the amp block. To reset the amp block in fractal audio devices, like you can use the editor in all the hardware. And he said, when I reset that, though, as far as I'm aware, that's going to like reset it, and I've got to then go in and dial in all my settings again to what they were. That I've always found that really infuriating. Oh, well, maintaining the settings. What's that? So this will reset all the channels of the amp block in the selected presets while maintaining the settings on the authentic page of the amp block, and automatically saves the changes. Okay, on the authentic page, right? I presume that means that one, doesn't it? I've not installed the editor yet, have I? Pat, hey man. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you too. The update's great. Greetings from Paris. Oh, you're in Paris working, nice. You know, I'm just join the stream for a minute. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you too. No worries. Hope all work is going well in Paris, and you're keeping well, my friend. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so what I was saying, yeah, so in terms of like resetting then, like my Stinky Opticians preset is a lot of changes. I do a lot of tweaking to the guts of that amp in the other parts, you know, not just the authentic page. So I'm going to lose all of that, and I have to go and plug all that back in. So maybe I'll have to do that in another live stream or in another video or something to test that. We'll see how we get there. We'll see how we do. Because like I say, I'm going to be strapped for time today. Right, so I need to install the FM3 edit update. Right, let's do that. Because it's not going to load at the moment, is it, in this, with the old... disconnected. All right, let's. Oh, duh. Yep, I can't have FractalBot open at the same time, can I? Let's try that again. Okay, it's reading block definitions, good stuff. Oh, whilst this is just refreshing that stream housekeeping. So I'm going to be introducing more guests into the stream, and still happy to give, you know, if you want to give me feedback as to whether you think that's a good idea, a bad idea, or, you know, more guests more frequently or less. But I thought it'd be nice to try and bring some friends in, some colleagues, some of my people that I admire, and have a chat and conversation about various topics. You know, the jamming and the dramming is optional, but the conversation is the cool part. Not going to say it's a prerequisite that you must play live and drink live. But yeah, so I'm kind of lining that up, organising things over the next few months. My current thought is to do like maybe one every other week. So I have a stream myself like this, and then the next week have a guest. Or maybe just, you know, do 2 in a week sometimes. So have, you know, the solo me stream, guest stream, and then just maybe do 1 a month or something. I don't know. I haven't quite ironed it all out yet, but I think it's going to be. I think it could be a good, fun sort of like variation to the format. I say format. I haven't got a format, is it? It's changing all the. It's almost every week I say, oh, I've not had time to plan. Anyway, okay. So this is now working with FM3 edit. That's been. If I go to reset current channel, so what did Will say? How do I do this again? I always, because I've never really understood what it does or been convinced about what's actually happening. I've never remembered how to do it. Let me read that again. What did you say, Will? To reset the amp block in the Fractal, use the editor on the hardware. In the editor, you can right-click on a preset in the Manage Presets window. Ah, that rings a bell, yeah. Reset amp blocks. Yeah, cool. Okay, but that's gonna change things. I will have to then. Okay, I will have to go and make all of the deeper tweaks to my Stinky Opticians preset. Let's do it anyway and see how it sounds. So, in fact, I could do this, couldn't I? I could just copy it. Paste, save, so I could do. I think this mouse battery's gone. Let's change this over. Do that again. And then, so I'm going to do this one. Rename, so this is let's call this reset amp block. So let's do that. Manage reset and blocks. Yeah, that's quite different. Right. Oh, that negative feedback. That's not how I run my real amp. So this will have changed. That's interesting. It says it respects the settings, but the negative feedback's definitely changed. And my deep settings, this is kind of what I've gone through in the, so the depth frequency's gone back. Yeah. Okay. Here's with it reset. And here's the original non-reset. So basically I'm losing all of the B50 changes that I've made. So Stinky Opticians is my kind of trying to recreate the settings that I have on my B50 and my captures of the B50 on the neural stuff. So this is based off of, like, the model is a B100 in the fractal. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the actual model of the B100 and, like, going into the guts of in the editor and sort of making some deeper changes to the depth frequency and, you know, various settings and the input trim and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely changing there with the reset. But I knew that was going to happen, so I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. I will do a third test where I, yeah, I'll do a third test where I then kind of reset it and then dial back in those changes. Maybe that's a video in and of itself at some point. So we'll say is beauty of modeling technology is that you would constantly learning new things. It can be real daunting if you're not familiar. Oh, and there's some great advice. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you found your sound, just stick with what's working. Well, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier on, Will. Like, not getting too caught up with wanting to change things. I have to try and you know, resist that. Where was I in Logic? I've forgotten now what I was doing. I was going to go to do... Yeah, I need to do a version where I reset the Bumble Fumble preset as well. Let's manage, let's move this down here. Copy, paste, rename. Right. Yeah, Pat, no worries. Nice one. Take care. More than welcome to grab the patches. I'll send any you want over. The ODS in this so good. It's like it's almost clean. You can kind of get that bouncy hammer-on legato pull-off sound with it almost clean, and then without having to change anything, just dig in, and there you get the drive comes out. It's so amazing. You can hear that dynamics so well. Basically clean there, dig in, there's the drive, and then if you just pull off, it's such a pleasant thing to play. Anyway, sidetracked. I've got about half an hour now, so that changing? I think that does sound like it's different. No, I can't. I don't remember my Bumble Fumble preset well enough. I can't remember if I changed any of the deeper settings on that. I'll have to spend some time going through checking, but it's all saved anyway. So this is the so this is Bumble Fumble on firmware 10 with no changes and not reset. That's no changes on that, no changes on this one. Let's do, yeah. to get older, I just use less and less gain. I don't know what it is, but it's like, which is making life harder for myself, but use less gain, single coil pickups, apart from with the 80 test and the bridge. It's kind of where I'm living at the moment. Right, let's stop faffing around and try and record. Let's do a bump, let's copy that track and do one with a reset block as well. I can't decide whether to just record a test with the block reset without redialing in the deeper settings. I might hold off on that one and wait till I've dialed back in the settings with the reset block before I record and test that one. Well, what's that? Another tip that I've tried to recommend with fractal units. Use parallel routing with ribbon delay, follow it with a clean signaling on. Cool. Yeah, nice. I've done that on other units before. I tend to not do it so much on the fractal. I'm not sure why. I used to do it with my real rig, with my Boss ES8 switcher, and do like a parallel sort of routing for that, for reverb and delay. Yeah, maybe I'll look at having another experiment with that with my main presets on the fractal. Scrappy. Well, it is what it is. I think that's going to be fine to just test the tone differences anyway. Yeah, okay. So that's the main bulk of what I wanted to do. Update the unit, get some immediate reaction to how it sounds and feels. Both of those main lead tones, that those patches feel and sound pretty good without too much drasticness changes to them. Yeah, the reset, even the dumble does sound a little bit, feel a bit different. So that's with the reset block. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So when I went, what I was saying earlier on, when I went from firmware 7 to firmware 8, on this cut drive scene, like on this, can I show you in the editor? So in the editor, basically the way I set this up is that I really like this where I've got the cut drive on the ideal page here. And that's not, hold on a second, that's reset. Oh, that's why. Ignore me, I might be talking nonsense. Yeah, that's why. I was going to say it's brought in a lot more bass, but that's because it's not respecting the cut setting on the page that's deeper. So yeah, this is the problem with resetting the amp blocks, as I'm remembering now, is that yeah, you're losing all of the deeper changes within the editor. So you can say you can really hear the low end, more low end there. That's the original with the bass cut, and that's the reset, the same preset with the reset amp block. Okay, right, well, I'll worry about that later. Someone beeping the horn outside my house. Yeah. So I'm probably not going to have time to explore what I wanted to, but someone outside my house, I think, might be at the door. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, it's my neighbour with the leaf blower. Yeah, so I'm probably not going to have time to explore, but there's like, the reason I didn't use my main presets, like I created variations for these tests, was that I wanted to take out the compressor part of the scenario, because the compressors have changed so much. I know that's going to end up changing the sounds, and they warn about that before you update, and on the forum there's chatter about it. And then also, yeah, the reverb's changing as well. So, but London Plate hopefully is not. It's going to be too much affected. Turn off my camera alarm notifications because it's going to keep going and going. But yeah, what I'm really, really looking forward to is I'm going to have to start winding down the stream, I'm afraid, because I've got to go out to collect my wife from station. So, but yeah, there we go, gold plate. So all of these sort of, yeah, you've got like the York Minster, big up, local cathedral to me, York Minster. All of these kind of cool reverbs now, pitch shifted reverbs, updated algorithms, the gold plate. I'm super excited to try this. Let's just do it. I can't resist. So gold plate. Turn off the reverb a second. I've loved it when Leon has been demoing the gold plate and he puts that on his, when that came out. Been very envious the FM3's not had it. That's in economy. Cheers, Will. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your help and with the amp block stuff. That's really useful, man. Thank you. Yeah, sounds great. Okay, gold plate. What's this cathedral? Fun. Well, I won't waste everyone's time with me just like faffing around on the gold plate for the next 20 minutes. But I might do another video or another stream where I kind of a bit more focused on some of these new features. The main thing I wanted to do is to just go through, just go through the update process live, which was, it worked, no disaster, awesome. Test out the main changes or potential changes to the sound of my main presets, and just hang out for my live stream. I didn't want to miss it because I can't do a regular jams and drams. Obviously, I've got to go out, so there's no dramming, just the jamming and this and the chat. But I didn't want to miss it. I've been managing to do this weekly now for, this is episode 11, I think. I've not missed one, so I'm really pleased about that. Very much enjoying doing it. I will miss next Sunday because I have a gig that I just cannot, unless I can do it before again. I'll have to do it on Saturday, so I might see if I can arrange maybe a guest this in the next couple of days, and do it on the Saturday evening. I don't know. Sorry if that affects if that affects being able to watch it, but yeah, unfortunately, occasionally this will just happen. Where as much as I don't tend to gig much on a Sunday, but occasionally I'll either be away working or I don't know, holiday sometimes, but I will try to still do at least do a stream during the week at some point. Thanks for watching so much. Any questions? Fire it away in the comments to this video, and if you're missing this or watching it on catch up, if you want to grab these presets or the layout that I was talking about, those are all available on my Patreon. I will upload the Bumble Fumble preset as well. I don't think that current iteration of it is on there yet, so we'll do that. And yeah, send me a message on there if you've got if you want any of the captures I've been doing. So recently done finished all the captures for my Deluxe Reverb, and they are available now on Cortex Cloud, and I can send those to you if you want them. Send me a message. Full capture suites, like 20 something captures of the Deluxe Reverb, and I've also got the full capture suite of the B50 clean channel. So there's already available, and I've shared with many of you guys all of the 60 odd captures of the drive channels in various settings, the HB and the BE channel and the gain structure modes. But I've also now finished a whole bunch of captures, a capture suite for the clean channel, which is based on the Bucks and Betty, the really incredible single channel clean amp basically that and sort of low gain amp that Friedman did and discontinued. They actually still build that circuit, pretty much that circuit, or very inspired circuit of the Bucks and Betty into the clean channel of the BE50, which is what makes that amp so utterly phenomenal. There's almost a zero compromise amp really. So I've got those captures coming as well. So if you want those, let me know. I'm hopefully going to get a video done on that in the next week or so. Yeah, I think that's it. I've got to go and do the adult stuff. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you next week, but it will probably be, like I say, on Saturday. Stay tuned. I'll do some community posts and Instagram, whatever. I must start sort of promoting this properly on a weekly basis now, so hopefully grow it a bit more. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, by Satrucci, and everyone for watching. Stacey, tuning in. Yeah, catch you later. Bye, everyone. Thanks.